I guess ex-teammate at this point, Agent, they used to play a lot of 2v2, when 2v2 became like one of the biggest modes in the game. But Base, I think there was, for a while, the community just, I suppose, wasn't quite sure if he had what it took to bring it to a LAN. And then DreamHack Tour in the 2v2, Cyberfight had a massive result where they placed in the higher end of the bracket. And Base was pretty much the main contributing factor towards their success. And from that point on, there's been no shred of doubt, because Base has been, quite a LAN animal since then. And I think that must have just boosted his confidence, if anything.
Yeah. What do you guys think based off of that?
I mean, I'm going to go out of my way and say that probably the greatest thing about Base, besides his gameplay and mechanics, is the video from PGL. If anyone remembers it, it's on YouTube. Mr. Karate, it's fantastic. Check it out. It's the best.
I still have the walk out onto the stage kind of burned into my retinas. It's something you'll never forget. But also av3k, I'm really glad he's made it this far. He was having some shaky trouble kind of in the weeks leading up to it. Fun story, there's a LAN cafe that they've been walking to 3 miles from where they're sleeping in the Dallas heat every day for a solid week and a half, to and from. So
you don't get those muscles taking Ubers, John.
No. I mean, he was a lot paler when he got here, and Zron, I know he looks pale like here, but if you look at his back, yeah. So these guys have been working out not only in-game, but out-of-game as well. So hopefully, maybe that'll have some benefit.
Well, we're going to bring the players out in just a second, but av3k was actually a topic of discussion. We were talking about the overall group standing. Certainly there were players or people online, there were fans here who were saying, kind of expected av3k to climb a little higher. He had some great matches. He had some also not so great matches that many people have seen the clips of. But what do you think that means for this matchup? Maybe a player like av3k, who people perceive as a stronger player, should be high in the rankings, but here.
I mean, I think Base gives off a very sort of happy-go-lucky demeanor, which means that in this kind of setting where he knows he has one hell of an opponent against him, I'm not really sure that's going to faze him too much. I know we kind of, in the video we just had, he kind of remarked how he kind of considers himself his own worst enemy. But I mean, av3k entirely, I think it's just his own. He must hold himself at a very high standard. A big result for him last year was 2nd place at DreamHack Winter.
Right.
And that was definitely not something that surprised people, and he looked extremely dominant up until Grand Finals. But when you reach Grand Finals of major Quake LANs, I mean, if you're setting personal goals, you can only go up from there. So if you don't win the tournament, you naturally might be a bit disappointed. But that, for me, is a testament to how successful you really are.
Well, let's pause it right there. We'll take a look at map vetoes, and we'll take a look at our champion vetoes. But first, let's introduce the players of this matchup. And the handshake before the battle, Mr. Karate versus the Prince. We'll talk about map vetoes here in just a moment. But I want to go over to you, Jahar, and 40 Lines, to kind of respond to what was said, but to get your thoughts on this matchup as well.
I think you're absolutely right. Both of these guys are pretty calm, a little bit more laid back. No one is quite as intense as Toxic, if you take that as like the highest echelon. But both of these guys, great demeanor. I think we might see that change a little bit over the course of the match. Seeing Base sweat is always a joy.
I'm going to say happy-go-lucky until you're down by a couple frags, and then you get real serious real quick.
Yeah. But, I mean, Ketchup, you said, sometimes you can be your worst enemy, and I think players relate to that a lot. And, we see different players. Some will be very lively, very jovial, and others, like Toxic, very Terminator-esque. And each kind of has learned over time, what works best for them. But yeah, I'm curious at what kind of a match we'll get as a result of having two players who sort of are bringing that chillness, if you will, to the competition.
And it's cultivated. I think av3k's actually been working on that pose we saw since he was, what, 13? He's been practicing a long time, and you had some experience with him too, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, to hear him say, I kind of feel like I'm still 16, 17, you know, it doesn't surprise me. He was always like the prodigy kid for a long time, right? And shared that title with a few others, Cypher, et cetera. Even cooler back in his early days. But kind of carries that legacy forward. He continues to sort of show why that region has been so popular for so many years in this game. But let's talk a little bit about the picks and bans here. Who wants to break them down?
Well, I mean, in terms of maps, we have Awoken, Veil of Nath, Ruins of Sarnath, Blood Run, and Blood Covenant. I think finishing things up on Blood Covenant is going to be actually quite nice for these two guys with the history they have. It's always great to see more old school players playing on such a legacy map. But I mean, yeah, here we go. Awoken first. It just doesn't surprise me. Like, the players in this tournament really, really like that map.
It's a fantastic map, and I really like the Doom Guy pick from Avik there. It's really easy to control the middle of the map. Double jump is fantastic for evading rockets. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, and again, when we're seeing this kind of format, if you have a favorite champion, we can largely guess by this point that Awoken is going to be coming up pretty quickly. So find your favorite for Awoken, get it called as quickly as possible. And yeah, like you said, Doom Guy, early access to Rocket Launcher depending on which spawn you get, but it can definitely help out early on.
Should we talk a little bit about predictions for this matchup? Jahar, I'm going to start with you.
Yikes. I usually like to roll off of whatever this guy says.
All right, well, then I'm starting with 40 Lions.
He's copying me all the time. I'm going to get crazy and say Avik 3-1.
Okay.
I'm going to say base 3-1.
Wow. So you waited for him to say, because
you wait for him just to, you wait for it just to disagree with it, is what you're really saying.
Unbelievable.
Just so you have a little bit of internal competition at the same time.
100%.
From my sense, I think this is one of the harder ones to call, just because base has been doing incredibly well lately. But I mean, Avik, he's a champion, and recently when it comes to lands, he got second place at DreamHack Winter. I know that was a while ago, but I think those skills carry over. It was still duel, and my prediction is going to be Avik 3-1.
Yeah, there was just 0.25 points between these two in the overall standings. But if you look at the actual, you know, base was 13-6, where Avik was 12-7. But a few of those 2-0s and those extra points went a long way. So yeah, sorry, what you said?
Oh, Avik 3-1.
Okay, thank you.
Prediction,
so you're the odd man out, Jahar.
That's okay. I'm comfortable with that.
I'm gonna echo with Avik, but you know, I saw some exciting games for base, like the attitude that he's bringing to this prize fight, and really curious to see exactly how this will break down. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick our game off as we shoot it on over to 40 Lions and Jahar.
Here we are, back again.
Back again. I can't get rid of you. I don't want to. I don't want to. I never want to. So I'm upset at you, but we'll talk
I wasn't
about
just
that
meaning
later.
to be contrarian. I think base is bringing a lot to it. Obviously, he's bright and chipper today. And sometimes at Quakecon, that can be a huge factor. This is a LAN tournament we're talking about. This isn't an online thing where you can be in the comfort of your own home and your own, you know, jammies and sipping on hot Coke or whatever you do.
LAN
Or
proven.
stuffing your face with cheesecake like you do.
So how dare you in front of all these people? Are you saying Avik isn't land proven? Do you remember the game against Cypher at PGL? Do you remember the cooler semifinal at DreamHack Winter? That's fine. You could be wrong.
Times change, but the game doesn't. Let's take a quick look at these guys as we get into it. All right, here we go. First map is going to be Awoken. We've got a little bit of Visor. We've got a little bit of Doom Guy, Base, and Avik.
That Visor.
I'm really hoping that Avik gets the spawn he wants here. That's going to be kind of critical. So I'm going to keep my eye on him as we get this thing kicked off. That's okay. He kind of gets banana spawn. It doesn't allow you to get that double jump down to the rocket launcher immediately. It's going to be a little bit more of a fight here. He's only taken the tri-bolt, and he's already ready. Base down below, same story.
Ooh. Huge delay on the Mega there, but Base reads it perfectly, gets the rail in early. He's still controlling rocket launcher. Avik needs to be careful there. There's the vision popped. So he might actually give up. Rocket's going through the TP again, waiting for it. Base can't figure out what he wants to do quite yet.
And with the cycle back over to Mega, I mean, it's going to be a little bit earlier for that. We've already got quite a timing discrepancy between Mega and Heavy Armor. So Base is waiting it out. So when you don't spawn Mega, you kind of have to assume that it's going to be on time. But he got caught out. that delay from Avik, I mean, when you get the banana spawn, you can either go Mega or you can go LG. If you go LG, Mega's going to be delayed. Base didn't take it into consideration, and so Avik is going to have a huge advantage for this first frag. See if he can chase it down.
Rockets almost giving Avik a haircut there, but he does net the first frag. Just kind of pushing into Mega with Rockets, but again, the Doom Guy double jump is really good at evading Rockets, so you'll probably see that a lot in this game here. There's a Rocket jump from Base to go grab a rail. And the fight over Mega breaks out again. The Rockets this time not good enough. Base takes him down with the LG, 24 HP and a little bit of armor left over.
That'll keep things tied up, but now, of course, yeah, getting that health back is going to be a bit of work. There's a lot of health back over here, but it's not a great place to get caught. Base looking both ways before he crosses the street, trying to stay a little bit quiet. 20 seconds until he gets some piercing sight back, but even he can see Avik coming for him with these Rockets down in the heavy armor. It's going to be just perfect shots coming out of Avik to bounce him around and shut him down.
Perfect timing on the heavy as well. Almost gets some damage off the spawn. There's a little bit of nail gun, just a little tap on the way out. He's going to try and cut off a rocket jump. Great rocket there. Can he finish it off? Is he going to go up to jump at another airborne into another rocket? Avik with a great frag there, 3-1.
All right, I'm already starting to regret everything.
Like
but
said,
Avik
okay
is just looking fantastic here. Only thing he's really lacking is a rail. There's the pig. No, he wants the frag more than anything else, and he gets it! Just around the corner. Wrong one for Base. A little bit of damage off the spawn. He still didn't manage to get a rail, though, so he can't really punish the spawn as much as he could otherwise.
Still, I like that a lot, because Avik is like, I remember this happening to somebody. I'm going to shoot here. But I like the working off the spawn. Didn't quite
That's
get
how
the
you learn,
frag.
Quake.
It's true.
Yeah,
Best way to learn.
you.
He's learning right now. That LG hurts. 80 HP. Avik needs to drop down to this 25. He's going to miss a rail shot. Good tribal from Base there. One more rail. Just goes through the telly before he gets the shot off.
Avik still has to do a bit of recovery here. 10 seconds to the heavy. Crossing over to that is going to be a little bit tough. With no armor whatsoever, is it going to be worth the fight? He has to assume that Base is going to be down there. He might be able to drop for a rail on the exit. Or a long-range rocket. I mean, last rocket, too. That's fine.
He didn't need that. That's fine.
No.
Doesn't have the
Get rid of
opportunity
it.
to re-up yet either. He does have LG out just tempting. Taunting Base to go up. Base takes that fight.
Nice.
Goes up, gets a rail, but Avik's going to have to back off, so Base does win out on the Mega.
That's 2 items for Base. Avik is still doing an insane amount of damage. But he's starting to let the items slip away. 3 seconds to the heavy, and this whole time he's only managed to pick up 1 light.
Really like this play from Avik, just controlling the middle here, playing very patient, waiting for the sounds. He knows Mega's going to be up shortly. And from this angle, you can pretty much ambush anywhere. There's one rocket, doesn't connect with anything, so he won't have any information, but he should be able to hear Base. He's going to give up the Mega. Base drops down and through the TP. Out comes the LG, chasing Avik, and he's going to drop onto the shaft, and that's never going to be good there, but he gets the rocket and actually takes that frag back. That looked like it should have been Avik's.
Base can't have much at all, and he gets a lot of damage off of Avik's spawn, but there's a little bit of 25 for him. 10 seconds to the Mega, so Base has very quickly got to get back up to 100 to be ready for this fight. He's got weapons. Avik's got LG. Is it going to be enough? Well, if he keeps whipping rails like that, it might just be.
Base trying his best to get some damage out, but Avik holding his ground, doing well to grab that Mega. But Base is still waiting there. He's going to float him a little bit towards the railgun. Is he going to be able to finish Avik with the shaft out? Not enough. Base gets another frag. 3-4 now, but he's incredibly weak. Avik doing very good damage. If you can get the right weapons, he might be able to rush, but the heavy will go to Base, and that's going to help his stack a lot.
He's going to know which way. Oh, that LG's going to go, but no rail to connect. There it is, finally. So Avik's now in the danger zone. The fact that he's peeking up here at all is incredibly dangerous, but he's not quite landing the shot. Mega's going to be up. Going to want to go for it, and yeah, with that one whiff shot, no matter what, that's going to be a picked up Mega for Avik. He's starting to get the items back here, but Base is crawling back in terms of the actual frags. It's going to be a big fight over the heavy. Avik just waiting back with Tri-Bolt and Rail. Nice returned Rail, but that one is going to be punished severely. 20 health for Base. Looking for the last Rail, there it is! But it's a Tri-Bolt to turn it back around. Where the spawn's going to shake out, it's going to be Avik on LG.
Fantastic weapon switch from Avik there. Hit all the Tri-Bolts he needed. Base was really low, but a great rail shot from Base as well. The trade comes out. But still, advantage Avik here. Double jumps his way towards rockets here. A little bit of spam rockets from Base trying to keep him away. And he's going to hold the stairs for the time being and trying to delay these rockets as best he can.
Avik can drop on heavy at will. So that's both items off of that mutual frag going to Avik. Base had to spend a little bit more time getting weapons. Now, of course, Avik has everything he needs. This isn't in a great spot here. Coming out of banana either way is not the best thing in the world. He's looking for a way out. Great rail. Holy crap. It's going to give him not only information, but, you know, damage is always nice too. It's kind of the name of the game. But another heavy for free, or no, an attempt on a rail, but it's a fairly free attempt. Not a lot of risk. He's going to hear the rocket jump, waiting for him on the LG ammo. It's going to be shaft to shaft on the Mega. Of course, it's not coming up anytime near, but av3k has nowhere else to go at this point. Base looking for the rail and risking it all for the one shot to tie it up. But now he's got to get help so fast.
Luckily for him, Mega is right behind him, and av3k went all in with that rail, and great rail from behind now, 60 HP, and Base is going to be stuck on the LG. av3k going for another rail, trying to line it up. He's going to miss one. Base missing with his own, as av3k needs to find this one. There's one, 45 HP, and he finally gets it. Base is like, just go away. Shoo, fly, shoo, and again, the spawn damage is pretty good from av3k. Both players knowing how to work that spawn. He comes back, and he eats a rail for his troubles. Needs to be very careful here. Mega's going to be up. He's going to try and get some damage, and the nails are going to punish that. 7-5 in favor of av3k.
In my mind, it would have taken him longer to get 25s than it would have to die. So, you know, fresh start, fresh spawn, try again. Mega's going to be up for him. Base should be able to get in on that, no problem. 24 seconds to the heavy. So it's going to be a bit of a fight as they work their way back that way. But it's going to be close range. With the LG, is it worth it? No! The rockets from av3k are going to be too strong.
I was half expecting punches to come out there, but he says the rockets will suffice instead, and he's just extending his lead ever so slowly here. His Base might get caught up by the rockets. A little bit of splash damage, a little bit of tickle from the LG here. Is Base going to go all in on this? He really wants this heavy. 40 HP for av3k. Well done from Base. Is he going to be able to rocket jump up the rail and make it back to Mega as well?
Almost perfectly timed spam rocket there, getting a little bit of info as well. av3k's still railable. Standing down here at the TP is going to be incredibly dangerous. This armor is going to be everything for him. Not sure if Base was going to be able to hear that. There's not really an item to play for at the moment, so av3k is just staying top T. Gives you a lot of information, gives you a lot of, you know, space between you and your opponent. He wants to push in.
2 minutes and counting here.
I've even forgotten about the clock. This is just back and forth on the fights and the pacing. Base RJing in for the Mega. av3k's got his back to the banana, and here comes the Berserk pack just to run away.
Just a light jog through Awoken here as av3k trying to hold on to this 3-frag lead, but Base says no, goes through the telly and deletes him with a rocket.
Ironically, he couldn't hear Base through the base. But it's going to be LG coming out of Base here now. Fresh spawn. That is now 1 frag between them. 1 minute, 30 seconds remain. Base looking for the rail off of it and not getting it at all. Play Kilson. He'll teach you.
Rude. But luckily for av3k, he stays alive, but for how long? Grabs the Mega. The stack looks pretty good, but he doesn't really have a lot of weapons to work with. Inching closer and closer to a minute left. Base is still down by 1. Let's define this frag descended into sudden death.
He's got the heavy. Mega's in the hands of av3k. All about the first shot and creeping around top T. It's dangerous to turn your back on that corner. But all in all, Base didn't get off so poorly there. So it's going to be maybe a trade between the Mega and the heavy. Base is going to see it. Now the decision is his to make. 45 seconds to get 1 frag.
av3k hears those big metallic legs. He's going to play really
Like
really
that,
passive
double
here.
back, yeah.
So be careful. There's a good rail, but he getting caught out with rail. The LG's going to do so much damage. The swap to rockets for Base is good. Nets him 100. Can he find this frag?
The frag is one thing. Having enough health to get back into a fight against av3k's LG is another. It's going to be so dangerous, but there's the heavy. 20 seconds to chase down av3k. He needs every single rail shot he can get. That Mega getting taken is bad news for Base.
10 seconds. I think that might have been it here as the rocket jump comes out. The vision's popped, but he has no health. He hits 1 rocket. Can he hit the rail? He does. Can he get the frag? The punches come out. av3k punches his way into map number 1 of victory. That was so close.
He got the rail on the jump pad.
I don't know.
And he stayed with the rail.
He's like, one more.
And when was the last time
Nothing?
we saw a match conclude with a Doom Guy punch?
Oh, Kilson's smiling somewhere. Oh, man.
So that's the one that av3k is going to get.
Maybe.
That's my prediction. Yeah,
Maybe.
that's the one. It was very close.
Feel like we're going to get 2 more. But, yeah, so I'm not going to say that I'm completely right already, but we're on the right track, right?
That was it was really down to those last rails in the last minute where he had the chase. Avik didn't really have a good avenue for escape. He was just kind of a sitting duck there on Mega, and he was still kind of poking his head out when it was dangerous to do so. And even that previous spawn, Base got a few nails off, but he had 2 attempts at a rail, didn't get it.
Yeah, I wonder if he had shotgun or something, maybe even gauntlet at that point, something, but that was just so close near the end. These rockets were so good.
Yeah, the opening half, Avik's rockets were just devastating and brutal. I mean, he kind of lost it towards the end, but that gave him enough of a lead to kind of be able to just, backstep it for the rest of the map.
Got another rocket straight into the gut here, but I really like the spawn work they're doing. Nobody, I don't think, got the official frag off, but so much damage right when you spawn in that leaves you pretty much helpless. And that's, wow, look at that float, too.
Oof. Yeah, some of this LG coming out of base, good stuff. I mean, in most of those LG to LG fights, Avik had a bit of an edge. But so much of the initial damage was coming out of base. I don't know. I think he's got a chance here. So we're seeing, the end of Doomguy, the end of Visor. There are other maps where both of those champions are incredibly powerful, especially Visor. This is really Doomguy's home, though, so Avik had a bit of an advantage there. And let's just call it what it is. I mean, he did get the best spawn for it, but having that extra mobility to get up to rail, to get down to rockets, it's a big help. Even if you're getting, fragged off by a tri-bolt like that.
Yeah, I mean, just the ability with the double jump to cut off the mid of the map, and just, I like the way Avik was playing really patient the whole time and holding a mid control and just waiting for sounds and waiting for any kind of cue he needed to set up these rockets. Look at this.
This one was hard to watch. Yeah, I saw it from the other perspective before, and that one was painful. He's just dancing around and again, just kind of sticking his face out there. He's gonna get it lopped off. And yeah, this fight, if the first rocket is bad, then yes, you can make the LG work there. The first rocket was good, got bounced around to the other side. Not much to do.
Yeah, it's so incredibly hard to have that tracking perfect when you're getting knocked around. So, rockets sending you into the ozone there.
I thought this could be the previous clip again, where he just
kind
of stayed on the 25. And yeah, from his perspective,
so
he went in for the punch and got it. Just kind of nailing things down. And that was the last chance. I mean, even that was a little bit ballsy because your opponent has you trapped on the jump pad. You're completely weak. And then do you stick with the weapon, the old standby, just a little bit of left click, or do you push the ability button and go for the gamble?
I mean, the thing that, I don't know, right? Because he hit the air rocket earlier in the game up the jump pad. It's a different kind of jump pad, but he hit the initial rocket. He's kind of coming just directly at you. Maybe you keep rockets out. Maybe you get that frag. It's too hard to call.
At that point, you're talking about decisions made in milliseconds, and
with the pressure on
inside these guys' heads.
I'm terrified.
I don't think either of them are. They're both looking, as you saw, a little bit more serious, a little bit more focused, but not too sweaty just yet.
Not yet, but it's going to get there. I feel like Base kind of wants redemption.
Yeah.
That's true. It is hot outside, but Base definitely wants redemption. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I still stick with my Avik 3-1.
What's the 1 for Base?
I feel like maybe Veil, but if not, Blood Run.
Okay, sure.
So we'll see.
I mean, Nosfa already showed us the way, literally.
Yeah.
How to play Blood Run.
Oh, that was. Gonna get into it. He showed everybody.
And again, it's never going to work ever again. But yeah, we're going into Veil next. Again, a favorite of mine. And Base just pulled out a few more pillows. That was the ticket. Now, when you lose a map and you think, okay, either my monitor height wasn't right, or my seat height wasn't right, like something like that.
You just got to get a tape measure to the monitor.
Exactly. Yeah. Who was that? Who was doing that?
Taquito, I believe.
Yeah. If my nose isn't exactly 4.5 inches from the monitor, then of course I didn't win. That's why I didn't take Awoken, because I only had 1 pillow under me. I need 2 pillows.
I mean, settings are incredible.
Come on, hotel staff, like 2 pillows. Important. It's very simple. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have pillows here. We need some pillows.
No.
No, you're good.
You're my pillow.
Most heartwarming thing I've ever heard.
I mean, at the same time, do you think that it's ever legitimate? Is it all in your head? Is it just, oh, well, yeah, I mean, my monitor was tilted a little bit, so all right, cool, now we're good. Now I'm ready.
I think there's absolutely something to be said about playing how you practice. I mean, you become accustomed to certain mouse pads, surfaces, heights, monitor adjustments, all that stuff. It all comes down to that. At this level, all those little things add up, and it does make the difference.
Well, if anything else is true, Quakecon is a it's a different environment. It's a different atmosphere. Beast. It has an atmosphere. It's palpable.
Yeah, so the next map is going to be Ruins of Sarnath.
Oh, Ruins. Okay, cool.
I think so.
I don't like it quite as much as Veil, but it's still okay.
It's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. But I'm looking forward to the champ picks and getting into this one, see if base can take this back and tie it at 1, or if Avic's going to slowly start to run away with this one. Are you sure you don't want to change your prediction?
If he's going to run away with it, it won't be slow. If he's going to run away with it, this is going to be decisive. I don't even think if it comes to that, it'll be Avic 3-1. It'll be Avic 3-0.
I think so.
I'm not changing my bet, but if it were going to go that way, it would be Avic 3-0.
Okay.
If it were. It's not. That was his
fair.
one.
That's fair.
You can gloat later. It's fine.
I'm going to.
All right, cool.
I think you owe me a cheesecake.
But we're going to go ahead and get into Ruins of Sarnath. We've got Eisen. We've got Ranger. So Avic will have Dire Orb available. Base will be doing a little bit of base building of his own, throwing down some turrets. But here we go.
Avic will get that courtyard spawn. It's always awkward. He's going to go for the 50 shard, and from here he can kind of choose his own fate. It's a little bit of machine gun damage right off the bat as he sees base by that LG, and he's going to decide to take a little peek over the courtyard and then delay Mega. Actually, items are going to be synced up because base had a tough time getting to heavy himself. Avic's going to slow it down and wait for sound here.
Already looking at top T. So one player is going to get rocket launcher off the spawn. The other one will get LG and Rail. But they're both up top right now, looking down at those spawns going, you're going to go? No? You're going to go?
Somebody make a move. That's what they're
It's going to be dangerous for Avic to push out here. He's going to catch a face full of LG if he does. And those angles aren't really ideal for getting a follow-up rocket. You might be able to pop him back out of the doorway, but not much more than that. Oh, but there's that turret. It's going to be acting as an alarm for base. And base is going to come in, steal the Mega, takes 50 HP, but Avic is just off to a really rough opening here. Yeah, I think he got played there.
So much damage there from base. He knew that he was going to go to heavy, and that was a perfect play there from base to start off the game. Really like how both players were extremely patient there. But yeah, Avic shooting that turret, the turret engaging on it, totally gave him away. And we're going to have a little bit of a skirmish here in mid. Great rocket there.
That's a rocket that means don't come back to top T. It's time to leave.
No soliciting, and unfortunately for base, he doesn't get the rail, but fortunately for him, Avic decides to test his luck and ride the lightning a little bit. Wally again getting taken down by that rail. That's going to make Avic think twice about going down there. He's going to grab this 50 shard in the courtyard again. And here's a more LG from base. The swap to rail from Avic is good. Trying to find another one. There's a little bit of a spam rocket.
I don't know if Avic's good. He's out of rockets. He doesn't have LG. He's got rails. And base is fairly weak here, but with 3 seconds to the Mega, I don't know if this is the fight for him to take. Base is going to get the Mega, and he can very quickly convert to the heavy. But look at this. Avic is actually pushing to it. He wants this to be a fight, but he could end up taking a rail in the back. Everybody misses everything but base's rockets. Well, how could he miss that close?
Misplay a little bit from the board there. He wanted that extra damage, but now he's going to catch out Avic again as he's trying to tri-bolt his way to freedom, but base says no. 3-0, 2 minutes in. Avic needs to try and slow this down. Mega's going to be up shortly here as base waits in that middle area of the map. Again, waiting for sound. Avic already drops the heavy.
Base was feeling the spawns there for a little bit and going, all right, cool, 2 in a row. Let me get one more. Just be leaving that. I love his expression. It's like,
He's like, nails.
Wow. Oh, the Dire Orb even.
Unbelievable. Just all up in your face. What do? All up in your face with nails? And,
That's what you do.
Dire.
So Avic is finally on the board, making good use of the Dire Orb here, but getting knocked back into top T. It's going to be like a little bit too long for base. He just tosses that turret, and the turret nearly even gets the frag. I mean, 2 more bolts and that would have been it. So Avic's going to be weak here, and the tri-bolt from base
absolutely
manages to keep it up. Did I see him pull a gauntlet out there for a second? Is that what I saw?
Maybe.
Thought I might have.
Trophy gauntlet, why not? That was a great play jumping on the jump pad, a little bit of tri-bolt, and he's out of there.
It's called the jump pad? Okay.
No.
Sure. Right.
I think it's called something else, but I forget at the
Can't
moment.
remember.
Can't quite put my finger on it. 4-1 for base. Gonna have Wally again. He's gonna set it down for the heavy. And look at the orb as Avic just drops right onto it like a crazy person. Does good damage here. Base waiting on this heavy, needs to be careful, and Avic's actually gonna go away and not look for a rail shot for the time being.
I don't think Avic likes turrets very much. He's been caught out by them several times here so far, just in the opening half. Base with the 3 frag lead, looking for these last pair of rails, and he's going to get 2 in a row. Getting very comfortable here. Going to see if Avic spawns by Cake. Nope, no button for him. Mega's going to be back up. And, I mean, this is looking like some pretty solid control out of base here. I don't know what you were talking about before 40.
I don't know what you were talking about. How dare you? The swap to rockets is fantastic right before the heavy comes up. Base again gets yet another frag. 6-1, extending his lead. Havoc just driving by, barely missing out on taking that rail damage there. Space again, just resets, waits in the middle. Whew. This is with another rail. There's the Dire Orb. Good rail, good diversion, but Havoc actually takes that. Base with the flick rocket around, doing good damage. Stacks are about even here, but Base is going to fight Havoc off for this Mega and drop straight down to Heavy.
That's interesting that he kept his turret up. He wants this fight over Heavy to be a fight that Havoc takes to him. And so far, no matter what stack Havoc has had, he's at least showing up for most items. Whether or not it's a good idea.
Yeah, he's got that Dire Orb. He likes to just jump on in there. Great rail.
Oh, he gets the info from Wally. Oh,
Wow.
and a rail out of the teleporter exit. Couldn't even see it.
Two fantastic rails, and Wally gets a little dink of his own. Assist to Wally. Great defensive rail from Havoc there.
Slav squad on the Mega Hell.
I don't know where that Dire Orb even went.
So Base definitely waking up here. 15 seconds to the next Mega. It's 100 to 100. Tossing the turret back down for info on the rail. Havoc might have already gotten one off the spawn. Now he's going to be going through LG right now, so that turret should see him here pretty soon. There it is. Base knows what's up. But he's also getting low on rockets. He's going to drop down for the heavy armor right now, but he's going to be a little bit lighter. He might need to rely on just rails and tribolts. Yeah, this is a long trek back up, and he's realizing I have to give this up. I need ammo.
You know what this means, right? Hellos mean everything, apparently.
Yes.
Good bit of LG, good defensive rail as he falls back. He's looking for another one. Havoc misses with one of his own. Misses with the second one. Base tempting fate here, saying I can take a stack. I can take a rail or two. I got the stack.
Yeah, this is dangerous for Havoc. If he crosses a little bit more over, I mean, it's going to be really hard for him to pull back out. But Mega's going to be up. It's going to be a trade here. It's kind of a gimme trade. And again, the turret is going to be a problem for Havoc. He wants to drop down and get in. It's going to be the Dire Orb to close the distance, but Base is already back out on the jump pad.
Havoc not afraid to go all in with those Dire Orb plays there. Base has been pretty good at converting those into frags. Not so much on that one, but 7 to 1. Havoc trailing needs to figure out a way to try and stop Base from restacking and just playing defensive.
I mean, that's exactly it. The clock is going to start to become a factor here. And the turret's going to be watching Base's back. Who's watching Havoc's back? Havoc is. And nobody else. So, I mean, Base is just leaving the turret to its own devices there. Another 15 seconds to the Mega. So, I mean, he could hunt for a fight here, or just set up for this next item, or just stare at a wall.
Why not all three? But all the pressure's on Havoc. 6 frags, 3 minutes. He's just got to put pedal to the metal here. Mega's going to be first. Havoc nowhere to be found. And Base is cool. Like,
I mean, this is
these
giving
are my stairs.
items to Havoc just so he can avoid a fight. He's going to have a turret back up. Heavy's going to be there, but diving down into Heavy would be so very, very risky. He was waiting for the sound cue. He got it. And now he's just camping on the eyeball. Yeah. Right back to where he was. Oh. This isn't worth it. This isn't worth it. I don't feel good about this. Time to get out. 17 health left for Base. He's going to be on the run.
Havoc was literally just running at Base right there. Needs to hit another rail.
He kind of has to.
Yeah.
He wants to pick up 6 frags in just over 2 minutes. It's going to be tough.
67 HP. Base still hasn't really stacked back up. One rail can open it up here, but Havoc just running into turrets left and right. It's got to be so frustrating here as Base finally stacks back up. There's the rail a little bit too late, but the second one isn't. Havoc gets one on the board here. And with 2 minutes, this is where the run starts, right here.
And that's exactly it. Havoc needs a run. And with that spawn on the staircase, I'm not sure Havoc is going to get it. Base is able to slow things down here again. As long as Havoc is focused on cycling the items like Mega and Heavy, Base knows where he needs to stand, pretty much. Mega's up, I could be here. Heavy's here, I could be here. Sometimes it's the same place, on top of that staircase.
Yeah, such a huge map, so many places to check. So Base feels really comfortable now as Havoc still trying to hunt.
And yeah, when you do have to hunt, sometimes it means having to ignore a Heavy or a Mega, just so you can kind of get a little bit more coverage, which means that sometimes your opponent can get back in and steal things back. So it's always a stressful situation when you have to try and chase down your opponent like this.
There it is, exactly what you said. You have to give up the item. Base takes a couple rails, but he's like, oh, this Mega right here, this is fantastic.
It's being left up for him. I mean, this is more of a risky place to stand. He's only at 100 health as well, with the rocket as the rail is with itself. And a strategic, cerebral rocket jump.
Very important to know.
More of a rocket hop.
Mind games.
Rocket trip. You only did it once, though, Death. Only once. All right, so 80 health. I mean, Base gets caught here. He's dead. But at this point, he's burned enough of the clock that that's okay. He can take a few on the chin. And Avik, I mean, he can have all the stack in the world, but if he can't find
just going to post up
matter.
and post on Twitter right now? Is this good? Like,
so this
it?
texture has always interested me, you know?
It's beautiful.
It's a mossy texture. It's got a little bit of it's got a little bit of gleam to it, you know?
I still love this. Avik's like, I got this.
Yeah.
I got this. Just spawn back in. Give me a chance right here. 20 seconds, 4 frags, easy.
And Base is just going to really slow it down, play the teleporter. He's going to get caught and he's going to die, but not often enough to prevent Base from taking Ruins to Sarnath pretty handily, in fact.
Yeah, absolutely dominant. There's the GGs there, and Base to tie it up. Maybe that's the one.
Some hesitant applause there, like,
yeah, they're like,
I don't know if we felt good about that.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah.
And it might happen again.
And it might happen again.
I mean, we've already seen a few of these strategies come out where, yeah, once you know that things are kind of comfortable, we're just now getting into an era of Quake Champions where we're realizing which maps are harder to hunt somebody on than others. Where it's been about getting the 3 or sometimes even getting the 1. Here, if you've got to like make the chase again and again and again, you start finding these little nooks and crannies where you can make that very difficult for your opponent.
Absolutely. And
Classic
it really
Quake.
comes down to champ pick, too. Sometimes you're just strangled by what champ pick you have him.
Absolutely. And Eisen was a really great choice for Base here. I mean, it gave him so much information. Even the early ones put down at the railgun. Early railgun is incredibly important. And knowing when your opponent is going for it, knowing when you can maybe do some responsive damage. He never took the angle of waiting down at LG to do any damage on the rail. He just let it be what it was, but he got the information anyway. And after that, how many times did we see him put the turret down at the staircase? So anytime Avik wanted to push on him at lower heavy armor, then he couldn't. He had a bodyguard.
You're fighting a 2v1 every time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was really, really well done by Base there. Great rails as well.
Yeah, he also managed to shoot him too. That was okay.
Yeah, that part was pretty cool. I like that part.
And not to say that Avik's aim wasn't on point. I mean, it certainly was, but Base made it very difficult for him to even get those fights. I mean, kind of trolling towards the end here, but that was exactly what Base had to do.
Yeah, a little bit of a Benny Hill theme situation.
Do you think that it's these kind of lowbrow tactics that are required for Base to take a map, which is not the map that you predicted, by the way, off of Avik?
I don't know if I'd call them lowbrow. You play to win at this stage, no matter what it takes.
He gets it.
So,
he gets it. Because you've done the same thing.
I mean, it looks like we're going into Blood Run for the next one. We might see hyper defensive play again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like we've seen that before.
We have. And again, it'll depend on champion choices. Technically, Keel and Scalebearer are still available.
Could happen. Could bull rush into pineapples. We'll see.
I don't know if I could stand seeing that again. I mean, like we mentioned, I mean, the execution of that, it's an old tactic. It's an old map. The first version of Blood Run came out in 1997. So it's older than some of the people out in the audience even. But it's an old strategy, and it's always taken a lot of awareness, a lot of knowing, all right, if my opponent is chasing me, how quickly can I get around this corner so I'm outside of rail range, outside of LG danger zone.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of precise timing, a lot of precise movement, and a lot of patience.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because you see it online doesn't mean that you can emulate it that easily, but we'll see what goes down on Blood Run as we're going to get into this one right now. Avik versus Base. We got Keel and Nyx.
A Nyx? Really? All right, so Keel and Nyx, this is potentially a similar thing, but just getting that first frag on a Keel will be difficult. We have a first railgun for Avik. It's going to be a big fight down in the middle for it, and he's got 2 shots off of it already. But the Mega is taken. That absorbs a lot of the rail damage, and then some.
Yeah, I know Avik wanted to rush and get some rocket damage, but he overextended, and Base just dropped right behind him. I was like, there's this Mega. You don't want that? That's mine now. So much LG coming out. Ghostwalk not used. 16 HP. There it is. Used in the nick of time after the 25 pickup. Wow.
Kind of in the nicks of time.
Hold on.
You're just going to push me off the stage, aren't you?
No.
All right, but that was kind of the get-out-of-jail-free card for Avik after taking all that LG, but Base is just going to keep leveraging the fact that as a Keel, he will have such a huge stack.
I like waiting on this 50 shard here. Heavy's going to be the next play. Also wants to try and get Ghostwalk up as soon as he can because that is the get-out-of-jail-free card. You need to have that on deck when you take fights, especially against Keel.
Well, with Heavy up and taken, yeah, base is just fine. But still kind of a bloodless fight. Avik is looking for an opportunity to trap. Quake has always been about cat and mouse, and Champions just kind of underlines that so much, especially in a map like this. Avik knows that he just cannot survive a full assault against a keel, especially base.
Still doesn't have an LG.
That's a very good point.
Forced into rocket rail fights, maybe a little bit of tri-bolt here. So tries to set up some damage on the heavy. Not too bad, just a little dink to let base know he's there. Mega's going to be up, he's going to try and do some rail damage, just a little jump. I like the patience there from Avik.
Yeah, that was a tough angle, so he managed to get the damage in. Of course, against this stack, it's going to take a lot more than that to put base in the danger zone. But base is staying alive himself. He's now got that all-important LG. He might not have many opportunities to use it for anything other than a finisher. So Heavy's about to come back up. Mega right after that. So there's going to be a Heavy and then just a drop to the Mega. And so base is going to want in here. He's going to think, I've got the bigger stack anyway, but he's taking so much damage from the rockets and rails. Avik is now railable himself. Base waiting for him to come out of the ghost world.
That was such a good play.
But they're so weak.
So much damage there. Using the Mega as bait, having the Ghost Walk on deck. He's like, I can do this. I believe in myself. I'm safe. And now he just has to try and chase this as he grabs control of Heavy and drop down to Mega as well.
He shot his last rocket.
Yeah, I hope he knows that. But he's, yep, he just found out.
Like,
click,
oh,
click.
no.
But he's still able to get both Heavy and Mega for the first time in this match. 3 minutes in, no frags. I think they both know what's at stake. Avik's ability to avoid and evade a fight from base is phenomenal right now. Not only the speed and the wall jumps that Nyx has, but also her ability. So base knows that this first frag is everything. All right, it's actually a Ghost Walk used a little bit aggressively. Avik wanted to, you know, kind of cover his ass moving through the teleporter, but also potentially catch base up there. But it's going to be LG on LG in this room all this time, and does the fight have to break out here? Really? I'm not so certain.
Oh, base knocks Avik down to 23 HP, wins himself the Mega. Avik looking for a cheeky rail after the wall jump. He needs health immediately here. So much damage from base with that LG.
I mean, the same rules apply. Force Avik into a fight where he has to use the Ghost Walk just to stay alive, and then find him when he comes out the other side. Easy. Simple.
Easy, simple, yet we haven't seen it quite yet. Base was very close, but 4 minutes in, still 0-0, very slow-paced game here. Avik looking for the perfect opportunity to try and trap as Mega goes towards the base. Waiting for a possible tele exit with the rail here.
Patience, like you mentioned before, the name of this game.
Good initial rocket there, but again, spamming all of them.
Not a great place for Avik. All right, so he's going to be forced into Ghost Walk. Oh, base thought he was going to go in for the heavy armor. He ends up taking a lot of damage for that misread. Not a really bad read, just didn't happen to be the one Avik took. Base still hasn't taken the teleporter. There it is. Avik can take away this Mega, but he's delaying it just a little bit for that LG. These rockets as well.
Yeah, re-upping on all the equipment that he needs for another inevitable fight here, as he also has a Ghost Walk up as we're getting closer and closer to the halfway point here. Again, hyper defensive on Blood Run between Avik and base.
But he's delaying the heavy just to find out which way base is going. He's not going to get that information. Base is still there. He hasn't moved. And now Avik is doubting himself. Where on the map is he?
Where in the world is Kiel San Diego here? As he steals away the Mega, and Avik's like, oh man, there's a lot of LG coming out as base. Tries to swap to rail. Avik with the cheeky little peek from the jump pad and then cancels with the Nyx wall jump. Misses with it, but the tri-bolt's right on point for a little bit of damage and information.
So it's going to help Avik out a bit here. And we saw him last year against Cooler in a similar situation where he had to play incredibly slowly. Oh, but this LG. Keel's just a sitting duck, and now he's going to be a dead one as well. Avik's got that frag on the board, and like we mentioned, that's bad news for base.
Yeah, that could decide it if Avik chooses to play it that way here, as base just drops down onto that LG. And yeah, as you mentioned, Avik and Cooler had an insane game back in Sweden on this very map here. Rocket will not land. A little bit of LG just to push him away and make sure that he's not coming back. Heavy is going to be up soon. av3k trying to do some damage from below here. Switches to the LG. Base is stuck. Is he going to get floated again? There's a lot of damage coming out from av3k there. Makes it to the platform safely, but av3k, I like the aggression. Not afraid to play while he's only a frag up.
It's just the one, but now av3k, with any opportunity to be aggressive, forcing base to think more about the 25s and the small armors than anything else, as it's going to burn time. And av3k still has his get out of jail free card at will.
Oh, and the read. It's like, you're not actually going to go on nail room. I'm just going to hold this angle. There's a great rail. 640 in. Base has some work to do. There's a tactical delay on the heavy.
Meant to do that.
Her high heels don't grip very well.
Where did it hang? That was a really good play from me.
Base will moonwalk his way back to that mega, but a little bit of tri-bolt. The av3k is going to be okay with just waiting on this tri-bolt platform here. Pretty strong positioning. Again, does have Ghost Walk. If anything goes awry, he can just pop that. There's a good rail from base here.
And it's going to be rails like this that are most dangerous to av3k, things that he can't react to. He's going to be knocked down to 36 health before he gets through the TP, but he's able to stack back up and create some distance between him and base. But base is going on the attack. He's like, I've got the stack. I need to force this fight right now. It could happen here. This is going to force Ghost Run. Oh, there it is finally. That's going to be a mega pickup for base. Oh,
wow, what a rail. In the nether realm, like, that was incredible. Base gets his frag. He rocket jumps up. He's going to be able to maybe convert this, as now he traps av3k in the bat cave.
There's no place to go. This is the first time where av3k has had no options. But he manages to get through anyway. You got to be really careful about. Oh!
Wow, there's the flick of the wrist there. There's only one place to go, and Base finds him with the shotgun. 2-2, 8 minutes in, and this game has livened up quite a bit here, as Base is going to be able to grab the mega yet again and make his advance towards possibly stealing away this map.
Well, av3k just got his Ghost Walk back. It's going to give him a little bit more time to work with, but that's pushing us into overtime if it comes down to it. Base is still going to be looking at a great stack. There's no mega to play for. There's no heavy to play for a couple more seconds. Base is just seeing if av3k shows up. Yeah, he's revealed his position. He can pop back through TP. Base is looking for one rail before the TP exit. It's not going to get it. But he's actually just going all in with these grenades. Gets the first rail in and just lets him go. Any damage is damage that puts him closer to having to use the Ghost Walk just to stay alive.
Base is out of rockets, though. Minimal rails as well. He's going to tri-bolt jump over to the heavy. Stylish. Secures it. Mega's going to be up in 5 seconds here. So 1 minute left. 2-2. This could very well come down to next frag wins.
Absolutely. Base is still going to be cycling Mega here. A little bit of anticipation rocket coming out of av3k. Not bad. It's going to give him some info. Not a lot of damage, though. Ooh. Yeah, great rail coming out of av3k.
So much LG. Base needs to be careful. Wow, barely ducks into the back hall there to grab 25s and a 50.
There's no reason for base to get too crazy just yet.
Great rail.
This is likely going to go into overtime, so he just needs to play it right. Just looking for the play through the teleporter. Waiting for it. He heard a rocket launcher taken away, though, so he's going to be a play back up top. Eating a little bit of damage up here. The tri-bolt's going to be nasty as well. Is the jump to the heavy going to be worth it for av3k as we go into the sudden death?
Oh, what a rocket there.
Oh, of all the times not to have railgun out, of all the times not to have rail slugs, this could be a problem for base. He needs to route over there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, av3k has a nice stack here, and base is going to play this as slow as possible. There's a great rail that's going to cripple base. One more could do it. There's a pineapple. The chase is coming in. av3k looking for the shot. Oh. There it is! In the blood pool, av3k gets that rail and takes the map.
Cannot believe it. I mean, there was like one little misstep there from base that meant that he just couldn't get to the teleporter in time, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, just one slip up, one stutter step, and that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. But I'm sure av3k is really happy with the way that just turned out.
We can give him a cookie at least.
I would like a cookie, but we could talk about that later. So, really close game, hyper defensive. There was just about 2 or 3 minutes where all the frags came out, and then just like that, you know, a couple rails, and you're dead.
Yeah, but everybody knew what the stakes were. If anybody gets like 2 frags ahead, it's trouble. Forcing a frag at that point is going to be incredibly difficult. Like we saw here, though, av3k's LG. Base just, he tried to make it off. And one of the most classic things about Blood Run in general is that, yeah, that heavy armor is just a death trap if you're caught out with an LG.
Yeah, it will definitely float on. I love that play, just holding that angle, saying, I'm going to be patient. I have nothing to lose by waiting. Base doubles back right into a rail. Well done by av3k. And this flick with the shotgun, knowing he's low, just going through the TP. And av3k's like, how?
Shake of the head there, yeah. Very rude indeed.
Yeah, a lot of like standoffish rails. Look at that. Base trying to make it through. He's like, I got a stutter step. And av3k's like, count it, and one. Really well
and it came down to that last one. So as we go into the next map, I mean, you mentioned the rails. We've seen a lot of, I've got a better rail than you. No, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. And we're going into Blood Covenant next. We actually don't have Corrupted Keep on here, so it's going to be rails all the way through. Blood Covenant is going to be very rail heavy indeed. This is going to be a little bit less of, you know, take a frag and run with it, and more take a frag and try to just assert dominance over both items, Mega and Heavy. Get them on a 15-second split, get that cycle going, because whoever's, you know, having to fight for a Mega all the time, it's just too risky.
Yep.
You're taking rails, you're taking machine gun all the time. The heavy machine gun is actually one of the most important changes to this map over the years. It's just enabled that whoever doesn't have a rail, doesn't have rockets, can still manage to just whittle down somebody who does. But it's going to be Strog versus Athena. This is thematic, to say the least.
Just a skosh.
I might be biased.
Looking forward to av3k and those hooks, and maybe we might even see a little peeker here and there. As we're going to go live on this one. av3k gets the bridge spawn. He's going to go straight to rockets, maybe try and chip on the Mega here.
Getting that spawn, you know you can come back to rail whenever you want, which is what he's going to do, but the potential to pop out and take off about half of that Mega is always tempting.
A huge delay on the Heavy, as you said. Nice 10 to 15 second split that's going to enable av3k to set up for the next Mega after he gets some items. Is clearing out LG room like every single corner.
And yeah, Base is being patient, to say the least. Comatose, to say the most. There we go. Huh. Yeah, he's here. We're good. We're good. Resume as if nothing had ever happened.
It's a strategy.
Yeah, he was itching his nose. All right, so av3k looking for the TP exit. Base is not going to give it to him. He's going to go through LG instead. av3k is really waiting for this TP. He's so sure that Base is going to come through. All right, cool. We're good.
Any minute now.
I mean, eventually, over the course of the match, it will happen.
He will be right eventually.
All right, but av3k on this Heavy. 3 seconds to the Mega. Going to be a little bit 1 second off of it. And yeah, there's that 15-second difference already. And as Athena, av3k has this tremendous ability to just keep cycling those items. Base as a Strog, I mean, he's going to be all about these choke points. Make a fight happen right here where the hook isn't going to be helping you too much. But a great rocket, not only the damage, but bouncing Base down into the mid-map.
Great rail there by av3k as he grabs the Heavy. He's going to be able to hook right back up to the rockets. Another great rail from above. Possible death from above. He's looking for another one here as Base trying to survive. The rocket will chip a little bit and just drops right down with the LG. av3k with the first frag on Blood Covenant.
And already a few cheers out there because I think everybody knows that the first frag in these maps between these two has been such a precedent setter. But here comes the peeker. It's not going to be doing him a lot of good. It's going to be a lot of LG bases taken. av3k down to 70 health, but he's got Heavy available. Mega's going to be coming back up. av3k doesn't have to chase this. He can just revert on the items.
That was absolutely amazing. The peeker came out in one rocket. Not only took out the peeker, but did some damage to Base. Very fortunate there, av3k, as he just hooks back up and says, no, I'm not done with you yet.
Right, so Mega's going to be up. At this point, we had av3k having to give up the Heavy armor for the moment. Still, I mean, we're looking at a huge gap between them, so av3k is just looking for the next one, or even a fight here. There's that play through the teleporter, but a whiffed LG, or ripped rail rather, but a lot of LG in fact. And that was just, yeah, mine is better today.
I'm going to say unreal, just all in, not afraid, gets the frag, asserting dominance here, and he's also showing.
Do you have a license for that?
I don't think he needs to go back to climbing classes. I don't know.
Needs some more chalk on his hands. But we got a rail coming back out. Oh, av3k is just laying in here. Very patient with the switch over to LG, but can he actually turn this into a frag? Going up the jump head would be, well, not ideal. Oh, here comes the peeker. There's a chase. Avic didn't expect that.
What a play.
He thought, well, I've got heavy for free. Counted out the drone.
Might be able to trap here. There's a good rail from Avic here as Base trying to run away. He's going to drop down to the blood pool towards LG. Avic smells blood and gets another rail on the drop down. Perfect shot from Avic there. 4-0 as we approach 4 minutes in this duel. Base gets the spawn, trying to pepper in with machine gun. Another defensive rail from Avic there. There's the rocket jump up. A good defensive rocket from Base to keep him away.
And he's got to realize at this point that because Avic is running, this Mega could indeed be his, but he's even a little bit too late to it. I mean, the movement ability that Athena kind of brings to the table here, it's going to be very difficult for Base to deal with. I mean, he can know that, yes, I've got priority on this item, but I can't physically get there in time.
Oh my god, the rockets and LG. Can he find the rail? He can't as Base is driving on by. Through the LG room, Avic waiting on this heavy, but it's nowhere to be found. Mega's going to be the next item. Maybe flipping timings in his head. Like any minute now. I swear it was here a minute ago.
On the same token, I mean, he's up 4. He's going to be dropping a Mega because of it. Oh, but this would be worse if he's dropping heavy because of it as well. He can hear the jumps up top. Knows that Base is going to be sneaking towards it. And yeah, that's double items for Base. A rocket jump back up to the bridge, but already eating all kinds of LG. The intense amount of damage that Avic is putting out. Stack or no stack, this is now a very, very close frag.
Yeah, stacks were about even for a second, but Avic actually uses the pillar room resources to stack back up to a healthier state, and the Mega's going to help certainly with that as we hit the 5-minute mark here. Good rail jumping across here. Almost hits another one as Base gets just caught blindsided.
Are you telling me that I'll be able to dodge rails? But that means that Avic will be getting full up on items. Base has to spend a lot of time just getting back up to 100, just laying down some of these defensive rockets. But this LG from Avic is doing so much work. Looking for the rail. There it is. That's a gimme.
Beautiful shot there from Avic. Forcing Base onto the jump pad and saying, yep, that's a freebie right there. 5-0 in favor of Avic. Getting closer and closer to taking the series. He is up 2-1 right now. A little bit of a TP peak there.
It's almost like I was dead wrong or something. Almost.
I don't know about that. We don't have to bring it up. It's okay.
That's what I appreciate about you.
It's not over until it's over. 4 minutes.
You don't like to lord it over me. That's what I like about you, 40.
And with that machine gun and peeker in hand, anything can happen here. 6 minutes in, more heavy machine gun. There's the peeker, and there's the rail to eliminate that peeker immediately. And another great rail from Avic, putting Base onto 70 HP. Does grab the 50 shard, and he's going to make his way back towards this heavy, but I'm sure Avic is going to be there to try and do some damage.
Base is barely even prepared weapon-wise for this fight over heavy. No rockets, no rail. The LG is going to be decent, but he's going to be depending on just machine gun here to do anything. But as we're seeing, the machine gun is actually bringing him down to 12 and finishing him off. How far does he have to go?
And Avic was playing really patient, waiting for him to cross back into his crosshair. Base with the great dodging just didn't do it and was peppering with machine gun the entire time, gets the frag on the board. Time is ticking, but this is very doable. Only 4 frags down.
Still quite a ways to go for Base, and trapping Avic is not going to be easy with that grappling hook. But as you've seen, Avic needs a few attempts with the grappling hook sometimes. And Base is getting this rail off the bridge. Is this Clan Arena or what? Can he get the last shot in? Can he get the last shot in? No, he can't. And Avic is holding on to that with 35 HP.
Living on a prayer here as he's going to grab these pillar room resources. Base is already up on the Mega. Drops down to LG. Avic to make it back to heavy. He doesn't need to drop down for this. There's a good initial rocket into machine gun straight away. Base trying to hit some rails. LG anything as he's getting absolutely obliterated, but so is Avic. The rail from Base will land and he will get the heavy. 2.5 minutes, 4 frags.
That is rough. This next fight will likely define everything. Base needs this fight to go quickly, and it's gonna be Peeker for the frag.
Oh, and that's... Yeah, Avic didn't want to see Base's Peeker on that one, but unfortunately for him, he had no say in the matter. Now he's going to get caught out with LG. Needs to use the hook to get away. The rail's out. Is he going to land the shot? He is. 4-6. Base coming back strong.
And this is going to be a pillar spawn for Avic. Base was hoping it would be a little bit closer, but Heavy's going to be back up. And Avic is actually pushing the Heavy. He's here. There's no reason for him to be. He doesn't have any weapons.
What a rail there from Base, maintaining his composure. 25 HP. He hits it. 5-6 with 2 minutes left. I don't think he can fight for this Mega, though. He needs to be careful. 95 HP. It will be stolen by Avic.
At the very least, that machine gun made it difficult for base to continue this fight. It was enough traded damage that base has to think about something else for a little bit. But he's got Peeker on the mind. The damage is going to be, well, not so much. But Heavy's going to go to Avik. One frag between them. If Avik had made that kind of play when it was maybe 30 seconds left and you just knew that base couldn't assault him anymore, then that would be one thing. But 2 minutes is a long time to try to play that off.
Yeah. Closer and closer here. Base, all the opportunity in the world, just one good initiation to a fight could send us into yet another sudden death. He's playing really slow on the bridge now. Heavy's going to be the next item. Avik is going to be more than willing to give this up.
I hate to think about what his BPM meter would be saying right now, realizing that you've got 1 minute, you don't know exactly where Avik is, and you're taking a pit stop for a heavy armor. It's a lot of things that just remove information from you.
I really feel like the rocket launcher covered the model down there as Avik is just hiding in the blood pool.
You think? Yeah, he's right there in the middle of the map. Finally caught out, but is he caught or just prepping his next assault? But these rockets coming out of base could do is being floated down by the LG. Avik's LG is insane! There's a switch to rocket and the frag, and the one that will define Avik taking the series.
Yeah, it looks like unless there's a miracle here, base is going to force the issue. He has no other choice. Machine gun on machine gun. He does grab a 25, but the hook from Avik to get him away. 10 HP. Can he get this? There's the peeker. Unfortunately, doesn't get it. 10 seconds left, and it looks like there's the trade, and that's going to seal it for sure. Avik will take the series 3-1 over base. What a set indeed.
Fantastic games. A lot of chasing. Do they even speak the same language?
I don't know. There's something about up-down.
Well, there's only one language that counts here at Quakecon. It's rockets, rails, and everything in between.
Very, very true.
Fantastic stuff. Oof. I mean, yeah, I'm feeling it there, Avik. That was a lot of effort. It was a lot of sweat getting put into that. We saw them walking up on the stage, all smiles and loose walking, and now base looks a little defeated.
It's still kind of smiling.
Still kind of
it's
smiling.
It's not all
sure.
bad.
Sure. Avik just looks like he's gone through the ringer, and I was dead wrong, but they were still matches I was more than happy to see. DJ Wheat, what did you think yourself?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think that those were still exciting matches. I mean, Blood Run went to overtime. We saw a little bit of what you guys were talking about, but I also love the fact that there is typically a point in which it's like, okay, we're past that. Like that can't happen now, and then they were forced to play. So the way that one sort of played itself out, I really enjoyed that one. Maybe a little bit closer than I would have thought, but I think really goes to show that base, aka Mr. Karate, has got some moves. I don't know what belt he's at, if it's like blue or even black, but whatever. I'm impressed, and I guess as a Quake fan, like I'm curious to see more of base. But yeah, I think that the results kind of sort of played out as well as most said.
Everybody but me, yeah. But
it's okay.
At the same time, 40 thought it would be Blood Run.
That
base took. So you were right, and so you were wrong by base losing Blood Run. Technically, that's how that worked out. I'll take it. I'll take
wrong,
it.
right.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, the grappling hook usage was workable there. I was actually surprised to see a frag coming out of Peeker. That was something that Dehang definitely kind of perfected when Strog first came out, and by this point it's something that a lot of people have seen, but haven't seen a whole lot in competitive duel. But here in this tournament, we are going to see just about every champion played out.
The crowd also loved that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were big fans of that one.
And again, let's not forget the Wally plays on Ruins from base.
Of course not, yeah.
I know he didn't take it, but that was just such good utilization there from Wally, making sure that Heavy was pretty much on lock the entire game. But, Avik was like, that's fine. I'm going to win more maps than you. And that's
base is really showing his base building skills between drones and turrets. It's like he's playing Weapons Factory or something.
Yeah, he likes things and such. Big fan of robots and whatnot.
Not a big fan of grappling hooks. I mean, that was a problem here on Blood Covenant, was just not being able to force him into it. But we've got Avik here.
We do. Avik, congratulations. The Prince takes his win over base. What are your thoughts on that matchup, just to kick us off?
One word: circus. I would say. Like my Athena, I played first time Athena. I knew that she's really strong, so I wanted to deny him playing Athena on the fourth map. So I decided to go with her, but I didn't like it wasn't my main champion, so I didn't know how to play it. As you guys saw, I missed like 3 hooks to the bridge, and I was like, what the heck? Like it can't be like this in official matches. So for my next match, I need to prepare Athena for next tournament, and it should be good. She is still strong, and she's stronger champion than Stroke for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, winning the prize fight, it's gotta feel good. It's gotta feel accomplished. But you know, overall, av3k, are you happy with where you ended up in this overall tournament? And as a follow-up, you know, like what should we expect to see out of you as the year continues?
Obviously, I'm not happy because I finished last year really strong with the second place on DreamHack, so I am like really high on this tournament. I screwed up first day completely. I didn't make sure to have my game on point and to check all the settings and stuff like this. So I screw all the games, and at the moment I'm happy that I managed to bounce back with the points next 2 days and get back to the top 8 global ranking or top 7 even. I don't remember. I don't know how the points gonna be counted now, and to top 5 Europe. So I think I did like max out of like what I showed first day, and first day I screwed like totally. So now the second stage on offline gonna kick off in August, in the end of August. So I'm gonna have like few days break after Quakecon, and then I'm gonna start preparation for the next stage and bounce back with the points. Points like for viewers who are constantly asking me like how does it work. Points most likely gonna double up in the second stage. So even if people coming from like challengers, they still have a chance to catch up with the other guys. So if you're cheering for some player and he didn't do great on this tournament, he still can catch up.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about this game, gentlemen. You have any specific questions about what we saw between av3k and Base?
You want to take it first?
Go for it.
So Blood Run, again, a very hyper-defensive map. Did you know that going in? Did you think that maybe you could bust it open earlier, or were you ready to play that slow defensive game?
This matchup is also specific. I didn't have experience like Kill against Nex. I knew that Kill needs to like play really defensive and close game, and I can't attack like with a squishy champion like fully like commit. I need to bait him a little bit. I need to like poke, and then after making some damage, I can go for kill, which I did once. I knew that he's like healing up in the next to the rail TP. I went in this when he went TP, but I messed up totally like directions. I thought he went to the right to the room with nail gun. He actually ran straight like to the shotgun, so I missed him. Because of that, I lost my invis. Nyx without invis is so squishy, and it's so easy to kill Nyx without invis, especially for tanks, that I couldn't keep control. So I gave control back again. I wait for my invis, and I started my thing again. So I started to rail, and I started to try to like catch him, and which I finally did in the end in the overtime only. So it took me 10 minutes of like preparing my fight for making a frag. I actually did 2 frags like before, but I also messed up a few fights. Like I didn't expect he gonna aim straight at me like after I went in this next to rocket TP, which he killed me like with one single rail. And I also thought that as soon as I go out from this invis, my stack will be high enough to hold one rail.
There was one moment where you were holding an angle by lower shard rocket TP. You heard him go up the jump pad, but you still held it. Have you played him before? Did you know he was going to double back, or did you just wait and just see if he was going to do it?
He's a tank. His stack is like 200, 200. Like he was low HP. He knows that if he goes to the room, it's no chance for him to like heal back. He has only like 1 health in this room. For 2 other healths, he would have to go like really far to the secret room, and I could catch him from other TP. When he's on LG, he doesn't hear me taking the TP from rocket. So he could assume that I already went TP to prevent him this health, right? So he had to make a move. His only move actually was to go out from LG. He couldn't go back. For him, it was impossible to go back. Otherwise, he would make a dumbest move ever, which would work out actually at that point.
So sometimes the dumbest move is the best.
Yeah.
They'll never expect it,
Yeah.
except in your case.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, it really seems like you had a lot of awareness of how Base was approaching many of those situations. You get much opportunity to play him online?
Actually not, because like as you know, and thank you for. I would like to say something on audience. Thank you, Jehar, for like letting me like bootcamp at your house with Ron. That was very sweet from you and Rotten Rolls, which I appreciate a lot. So as you know, I spent like 3 weeks in the US with Ron, and we didn't have chance to practice with European players. I also had a long break after DreamHack. I started basically to grind the game like only when I came to US, so I didn't play base once. But of course, I know him as a player. I watch his games. I know his play style, so I knew what to expect.
You helped out?
Well, one more time, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to av3k, the winner of this prize fight versus Base. av3k, we're all going to keep a keen eye on you as the year progresses, but congratulations, well done. And we've still got more Quake Pro League coming at you here for the Season 1 kickoff. We're live from Quakecon 2019. Coming up next, it's Ron versus Dehang, as we have only 3 matches left here on this Championship Sunday. So do not go away. We'll be back with more right after this.
No.
My name is Bentor Sakharuk. I play video games under nickname Hron, and I picked this nickname just because I heard that name in Russian language and I liked it. I'm from Ukraine, from city Lviv, winning Quakecon in 2017 in Sacrifice. It was like biggest Quakecon, and it was like a new game back then, Quake Champions, and it was like big moment for me. Like it was first time traveling to USA, winning tournaments, so it was a lot of fun. I'm originally CS player, and mostly I played CS 1.6 back in the day, but at some point I just wanted to play alone in some game just because my teammates were not ready to play or something. So I started to look for games where you can play 1v1, and back then it was Quake Live, around like 2011 I think. So I just registered back on that on site, quakelive.com, and just started to play in my free time. And I like the game. It was very fast-paced, and initially I was struggling a lot in duel because as a newer player you just usually compete versus most experienced players, and it's really tough. But as soon as I started to play team modes, I started to play more, I started to enjoy it, and I started to play more and more. I think it's like I can do anything but like just depends on the day. On a good day I can play like super aggressive, do whatever I want. On a bad day I'm trying to play passive, like see whatever works for me, and like I'm just trying to play reactive and react on situation or whatever happening on the map. My favorite champion right now is Beer. Usually I'm mostly using railgun, and I think honestly it's like my favorite weapon, but I think depends on the day. Sometimes I just like enjoy using a lot of tri-bolt, nailgun, but usually I always try to use some like non-standard, I would say, weapon picks, because I like to use more heavy machine gun, more tri-bolts than other players, I think. Usually on practice I draft champions based on what I want to practice, and here on tournament I draft champions on what I think gonna work the best, so I hope. But I think every player has the same approach in practice, that they mostly practicing champions, they're not taking it like 100% serious. He's a lot more patient than me, and like I'm kind of trying to develop this patience over tournament for myself, because I'm also feeling a bit uncomfortable in duel sometimes, because I'm coming from team modes where you don't play so patient. And right now in duel I'm trying to adjust to kind of new style for me, and I don't know, hope it's gonna work.